Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Duval Dive. Of course, I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game.
And I'm Travis Holmes with BigCatCountry.com.
And you're listening to this thing on the Believe Podcast Network. And Travis, I'm going to say this right now, and you already know it. There is more heat surrounding what's going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars than there currently are in your pipes as you're getting a water heater installed. Dude's 4 hours late. I'm sorry to hear about that. But the show is still going on here. And by the way, you may notice we are streaming on Tuesday night. That's because I'm doing some work with the Scouting Depot tomorrow night, covering their Cure Bowl, Old Dominion, taking on the University of South Florida, aka the West Florida Cows. I mean, USF Bulls. Don't worry, I joke here, but I can guarantee you I got some good stuff from interim head coach Patrick of USF. And, of course, Coach Rainey of Old Dominion. Make sure you check all of that out. The Scouting Depot on my preview, and, of course, post-game with that. But enough about why we're not doing Wednesday. We're here on Tuesday celebrating Trevor. There's going to be a lot of T's in this episode because Travis, well, I mean, not you, Travis, but Travis Etienne, and just a whole lot going on. And man, I got to tell you, how much pride do you have as a member of the Duval Devout, knowing that you had a hand in the elimination of Patrick LaVon Mahomes II and the Kansas City Chiefs?
I mean, I don't really care. I do not care. Yeah, I'm too excited as a member of the, like a true member, a true homegrown member of the Duval Devout. I do not care about Patrick LaVon Mahomes. I am all about the Duval right now. All about Trevor Waffle House Willie Lawrence at this point. Like, that is where my focus truly is, because the Jacksonville Jaguars are a winning organization. We're the new Kansas City Chiefs. So at this current moment in time, I'm saying some wild things. I know I'm saying some major lies, and that's okay. Because it's a week up here for Duval right now.
We'll call it lies. There might be a little exaggeration alert going on here for you, Travis D. Holmes, but there were some other people popping off at the mic talking about the performance that Trevor Lawrence had. And of course, I mean, his former teammate at Clemson, Travis Etienne. Let's take a listen.
Back in 22, Trevor got hot in the second half of the year. Does this kind of feel similar to that in a little bit? I mean, obviously, I know different plays, different games and stuff, but just him starting to get on a roll at the most important times, it feels similar?
Nah, not at all. I don't think I ever seen Trev like this. I feel like we won a national championship together, and I feel like he's just out there. He's on fire, man. Like, you've seen it. He rolled out again, and he just kind of stopped and just Parker's down there somewhere, and he launched it, and Parker made a great catch. So, man, I'm just grateful that I'm on his team, and the growth that I've seen through him, from him, man, it's just unbelievable, and it forces everybody else to step up that game as well.
Travis, it was in these comments, and I forget who said it, and if you're in the comments, raise your hand if it was you, among you Duval divers. But I remember a while back, there was a comment that somebody just says, let Trevor throw the damn goal ball or something like that. We've gone
Preston,
from that.
PT. It was Preston.
I didn't. Okay, shouts to man. PT phone at home on that one. We go from throw the damn ball.
PT's been banging that drum for a month, bro.
Exactly. We go from that to bleep, Parker's out there somewhere. Ha! Like, what a good
He went from there to let it rip. But also, if anybody hasn't seen that clip of Travis Etienne, all right, before we get into all the serious conversation, bro, what is he wearing? Like, my brother just went to a trek to Mecca, and I'm like, yo. But also, all jokes aside, the Etienne is right. Like, he really is. Like, Trevor did it with his legs, like on the ground with multiple explosive runs. He did it in the air. He went off script when necessary. The national media they pretty much jettisoned Trevor Lawrence to the, what do they call it, the elephant graveyard or whatever that place is called in Lion King. Like, they yeeted him to the dark side at this point. And now that he had a 6 touchdown, no turnover worthy play performance, they don't have a choice but to give it attention. Like, the national media guys are not nervous because of those past public and possibly premature takes that they had out in these streets could come back to bite them in the butts. But that's what makes this really interesting, because you got some guys that's digging in straight up saying, this is my line in the sand, he's not good, and that dude looked very good to me. I'm sorry. I feel like I know ball, but that looks incredible to me.
I listen. I'm inclined to agree with you, and I mean you got it queued up here. Some of the highlights, if you will. Let's show them and not tell about it. I mean,
20 of 32 for 330 yards. Big boy throws down the field, intermediate area, killing them in the intermediate area with a perfect passer rating. But let's start with this bad boy, because folks didn't really realize why Trevor Lawrence missed Britton Strange on that early touchdown, on the early touchdown throw when he's wide open. Trevor's being stepped on by Robert Hainsey at the time that he's throwing it and it's falling. So you don't see it from the other angle when folks are watching it on TV, but he actually gets stepped on, and that's why he overthrows a wide open 2 receivers in the end zone. But then he kind of comes back and just is,
does that
dominant and just, hitting everything. Like that made this like Trevor was on one today. Sunday. In every situation where they put him in, where it might have been even a moderately stressful, like down in distance, it was just like, nah, it's fine. And on multiple drives, they didn't even get to a 3rd down scenario. Now I showed the route where Brian Thomas Jr. dropped the touchdown and also dropped the deep ball, just because I wanted folks to understand Trevor Lawrence, his passing day probably could have had another touchdown and another like 50 to 60 yards passing just because of dropped balls, 2 by BTJ. And that's kind of important. And when I say he got 51 yards on the ground and a touchdown, what are we doing, bro? Like, one of his best throws 2 weeks in a row.
Parker's out there backwards.
Just Parker's down there somewhere. Yo, Trev is on his Michael Jordan, bro. Like he is. Like it absolutely became personal to that young man. And shout out to Trevor, man. Shout out to Trevor and his family and on all those guys, man, because it was a dominant performance, and it actually gave me a little bit more confidence in Trevor's game against this Denver defense. And I want to get into a lot of that why on Fridays. Well, I should say Thursdays podcast.
There you go.
Just so y'all know, it's on Thursday this week, not Friday. Making a lot of changes because of the bowl schedule.
Bowl and all that. You can still check it out on Friday morning. It'll be on the Duval Dive YouTube channel. That's a thing. So, know.
Yeah, but based on EPA per pass, Sunday was Trevor's best game of his career. Full stop. Like, and for the Jaguars, it was the best EPA per drop back performance since Mark Brunell and Jamie Martin did it like back in 2000. That was 25 years ago. Like, that's just how good it was. And it was dominant. And yes, it was against the Jets. It don't matter, man. He's been stacking these performances for weeks, and we've been talking about it this whole time.
I'm glad you pointed that out, Reyes, in the comments. I think my favorite thing is people saying it's just the Jets. I think someone on Twitter had the stats of other quarterbacks against the Jets, and Trevor blew them all out of the water. Let's also be clear about something. Trevor Lawrence did so well that Steve Wilks, defensive coordinator, is now out of a job. It's not every week a quarterback goes off and a dude gets fired the next day. Just throwing that out there.
No, you're not wrong. And other quarterbacks have done just, how do you say this in the right way? The Jets did a few things, right? So folks are using the Jets defense stinks argument. And I'm like, I don't think that's actually like fair though, because to the commenters, to Reyes' point, like they've been good for much of the season. And even after the Sauce Gardner Quentin Williams trade, they still held Lamar Jackson to 153 yards passing and no touchdowns. And they also held, like, Drake May did throw for 283. I think that's fair to say. Like, he threw for a lot of yards, but he only had 1 touchdown too. And that was to his running back. So it's more than just the Jets. It's truly like Lawrence has been dominating on stacking them on top of each other for weeks. Keanu said it on the socials, like, Keanu Karg on X. Trevor Lawrence hasn't had a turnover-worthy play since before Thanksgiving. He has 9 big-time throws in that span, and he is the NFL's highest-graded quarterback, 94.2 per Pro Football Focus, including the other league best with a 95.2 grade while under pressure. It's not just that it's the Jets. He's been doing this week in and week out. We just keep moving the goalposts and saying, oh, well, it's because of this team. It's because it's against that team. He did it against the Chargers, too. That's a good defense also. Like, come on, man. Let's keep it a buck.
And a good point here brought up by Tapa. Liam Coen isn't getting the level of respect Ben Johnson is. Why is that? Well, hey, listen, Tapa, bro. I don't want to spend too much time on this because Liam Cohen's already answered your question. Jacksonville ain't gonna get the respect. They never will. That's the attitude that Coach Coen is taking. The players are buying in. And I think this is that hunger that you've demanded from this squad, Travis. It comes and starts with, in my opinion, that. And I say as the non-card carrying member of the Duval.
No, he's right though. I mean, he was always right when he said it. Like Jacksonville's not going to get that respect. One team is in Chicago, the other team is in Jacksonville. It's no different than one team being in Dallas and stinking, and another team being in Arizona and stinking. Like they're just or Green Bay or whatever the city. Like if you're not those big cities, you're not going to get the respect unless you take it, and that's good. That gives teams that hunger that you got to take respect, because these fools ain't gonna give it to you unless it's blatantly obvious, because they're not watching. In the words of Richard Sherman when he told on himself, he ain't watching the games. He's an analyst that ain't analyzing nothing. It is what it is.
I mean, you came out with that smoke on Twitter, but you doubled down here on the Duval. Duval.
It was the worst thing I think I've ever seen someone whose job as a sports analyst say out loud, out of their mouth on purpose, is I analyze sports, but I heard this is what he did in the game. Brother, if you talking about what you heard and you ain't even analyzing the actual game from your own eyes, why are you here? Go home. Be a family man. Like, do something else.
There you go. And with that, I shan't argue. If we're going to throw Emmanuel Acho under the bus for the same thing, we got to call out Richard Sherman.
Right. I love Richard Sherman. I love it with a passion. One of my favorite corners when he was actually playing. But as an analyst, do something better, man. Get better people around you. I don't know what to tell you.
Get in front of that tape is what you should do. We retired Marino. Reminds social.
That's facts.
62-7. I remember that because it adds up to 69. Thanks. No, but I mentioned that score because 48 is among the top scores all time amongst the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe it's third overall time. Of course, that 62-7 classic. That's the social hockey recognizes. It's I think might be the top one. So there you go.
It's up there, but and I don't know. And speaking of most ever, I don't know if you saw this, but led by Lawrence, the Jaguars, they're averaging 32.8 points since their week 8 bye, and they've scored 25 or more, 7 straight games, which is a franchise record. And the run game has been fine, reasonably fine. We've talked about this for a few weeks now, so it's it's been up and down depending on how you want to categorize it. But it's been in no way good since the bye. They've been doing this on the arm of Trevor Lawrence more weeks than not. And since their bye, they scored 29 points against this incredible Houston Texans defense, which is a season high for them. They've given up 30. They scored 36 points against the Colts, another season high, 48 against the Jets, their season high, and 35 against the Chargers, which is the second most points they've scored in 2025. They are dominating right now, whether it's a good teams or bad teams, and embarrassing all of these guys so far. So some of that should give folks a little bit of pause and be like, no, maybe this is real. Maybe you don't have to have that Duval PTSD. This will be the week to prove it against Denver, but it feels real just looking at the film, bro.
Pause. Gives them pause.
Not that kind of pause. But yeah, I got you. But no, man, Liam Coen has been in his bag, and I talked about this on Sundays on the post game, because he truly has, bro. It's been a weird thing. He basically had to have circled Quincy Williams and those Jets linebackers' name in the week prepping for the game. And I said this on the socials because all three of Travis Etienne's targets for 73 yards and 3 touchdowns came against Quincy Williams in coverage. Former Jacksonville Jaguar All-Pro linebacker Quincy Williams, who's a good dang linebacker, obviously. That felt to me I think Next Gen Stats is the one that put it out. Trevor Lawrence's 4 TDs to players out of the backfield, i.e. running backs, are the most by a single player in a game in the Next Gen Stats era. That's since 2016. This is coming on the shoulders of Liam Coen, who was the two running back guy from Tampa Bay last year, who basically did the same thing at the bye week in 2024. I'm like, dude, this dude is stunting on these fools right now.
I got to bring up PT Phone Home talking about Richard Sherman. Hearsay is the basis of 90% of folks' opinions out there. That's so perfect.
Hearsay.
So you do realize that 40% of all statistics are completely made up. Anyways.
No, but man, so the fact that I'm watching Liam Coen out there, just put these guys in space is crazy to me, because that to me just says Liam Coen is loudly announcing that any predictable man coverage defense He is going to destroy them on intermediate routes with Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, and he is going to stretch the hell out of these linebackers, across the field, like horizontally, not vertically, and kind of just use their aggressiveness against them. Like that, to me, if you're a Duval devout, if you're one of the Duval devout, you're in the Jacksonville Jaguars fan base, you have to be like, all right, so he's able to find the weakness on another team's defense and exploit that over and over and over. That's 4 out of the 6 touchdowns against the Jets linebackers and using the Jacksonville Jaguars running backs. That's Tom Brady is when I say, like, hey, that's something that Tom Brady would do. He'd find that one practice squad dude or that one weakness on the defense or whatever, and might have 200 yards passing just against that guy. I'm going to win the whole game just attacking that dude over and over and over. That's what Liam Coen did right now. That's kind of like Tom. That's why I say it's like brutal in that way.
Tom Brady
make that dude quit.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing, though. Tom Brady wouldn't have 50 yards rushing with a touchdown. Anyways, so I'm seeing in here the Jets were supposed to be good in pass coverage, and I think there's an element of this, and I have seen this element not just throughout. Let's say Duval analysis. I'll give credit to Locked On Jaguars Jag Squad show with
Tony Wiggins, Marcus Ogden, and Mia O'Brien.
Mia O'Brien. T Wig was not on that particular episode, but nonetheless, it was the two of them talking about it, and they talked about the linebackers being aggressive in the Jets defense, and it's been said other places there too. I give shouts to Locked On Jags. They're friends of the show, and frankly, they said it first, so I give them the credit. I heard it there first, so they give them a credit. And the punchline is this, though. If people are being aggressive, a defense is being aggressive with their linebackers, I hear and see two things. A, they're blatantly trying to stop the run because they're aware that Liam Coen is a disciple of Sean McVay. They are aware that it's been said that they want that to be their identity, and the complete and total disrespect of one Trevor Lawrence has been consistent, it would seem. He could just do his first read, right? This is what we keep hearing, allegedly. Well, now both things got put to bed at the same time. And the reason why Steve Wilkes got fired, I would suppose, is because they didn't see the film of the Titans where allegedly Simmons said that he was that same quarterback. Travis?
Well, that's real funny, though, because I can probably name to you 5 defenses off the top of my head that are aggressive downhill defenses that a similar game plan could work against, like whether it's play action, whether it's just getting the running backs in space, running screen passes. The Jacksonville Jaguars, your 2025 Jacksonville Jaguars ran multiple screen passes after the bye week. Where did that come from? I thought they fully erased that from the playbook, and all of a sudden they're like, no, we got this. We were just lulling y'all to sleep, not doing this all year long. But no, you got the Houston Texans. They're an aggressive downhill defense. You got the Jets, obviously. You got the Denver Broncos. They're aggressive downhill defense. Like, folks don't talk about that. You got the Cleveland Browns. Like, basically, a lot of the best teams are also aggressive downhill teams. And that, for me, again, if you're seeing Liam Coen be able to kind of call the game like this, that is a positive finding, because we just hadn't seen it against a real dominant team so far, against a team that was reasonably good on defense. And that's kind of where I'm leaning. Like, folks can say what they want to say because they want to rewrite the narrative, but it is what it is. Hey, Travis, I am an Arizona Jags fan. Don't talk trash on Arizona. I'm sorry, brother. y'all play competitively. My bad, bro.
That's true. That game was far more competitive than I think the Cowboys would be this year against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jesus. Oh yeah. Speaking of, we didn't talk about Bashaw Tootin because we haven't talked to anybody since they dropped the original news, man.
Please.
Yeah, so we wrote the article on bigcatcountry.com, so obviously go over and take a look and just click the link. I don't care if you don't read the article. Click the link.
By Travis Holmes. There's the byline, right?
That's who wrote it? That dude's dope. All right. No, Bashaw Tootin is undergoing reportedly undergoing surgery to his finger that he injured in Sunday's game, which is obviously going to be a small, at least for a temporary, hit to the Jacksonville Jaguars running back room. Now, they did sign DJ Dallas as to the active roster as a free agent, and that's it sucks. There's no other way to BS it. Like, I'm not going to parse that language. Like, it sucks because you use Tootin a lot. He uses speed a lot. You know, he was this close to breaking multiple explosive rushes over the last few weeks. They used him in the passing game a lot more than I thought they were going to, just as a prospect coming in. Like, the fact of the matter is they're going to miss his explosiveness on the kickoff return team also. Top 11 in the league in kick return. Like, from across the board, he's going to be missed, but he will be back before the playoffs. So you're going to then see a lot more of that dog, of that boy, that guy.
Everybody's favorite fullback, baby. Woo!
And everybody loves the way that he pass protects. They love the way that he chipped because he is out there putting dudes on the ground in the middle of a play. He's like, no, I'm out. I need a second. Just Lord, mama, help me. Oh, man. I missed that originally. Like, dudes taking a knee in the middle of the game, like this is the national anthem. It was good. So you will get a little bit more run from LaQuint Allen potentially, especially in the passing game against this Broncos, man defense, heavily man defense. So I'm looking forward to seeing what LaQuint's going to do, and hopefully he'll get in too many fights.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know you might have missed that hit. I missed the gaping hole in the middle of the Jets defense on that play. And when you pair that with a big old hit by LaQuint, I liked how that ran. Of course, Trevor's going to get significant yards up the middle, and glad he didn't get more if he managed to successfully slip that first tackle. Listen, I get it. Bayshaw Tootin is better, and the Jags are better when he is an option that they can go to. I'm not insinuating that it's good that he's out. However, what I really enjoy is that they made the decision to have him be worked on now, get that surgery now, so he is ready, as you mentioned, for the playoffs, because this is going to be a postseason team. That 10th win makes it pretty darn likely.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, man. And I don't know. Should we talk about this whole offensive line conversation? Because we talked. Trevor's gotten flowers on both these last two podcasts, but I also feel like we should kind of get into some of the other guys who also deserve their flowers, but also maybe deserve a little bit of extra context.
Listen, it's nighttime. It's beef. It's what's for dinner. Let's go.
I love it. All right. So Cole Van-Lanen. So for anybody who missed it, Walker Little cleared left tackle. Walker Little, he cleared the concussion protocol on Thursday last week. He fully practiced on Friday before reporting additional concussion symptoms, and then the team ruled him out on Sunday. Now, after the pretty dominant performance in pass protection for Cole Van-Lanen, CBL, on Sunday, a lot of the fans, they are not letting this go. That we need a new left tackle in Cole Van-Lanen. Like, the guy played pretty freaking dominant. Shout out Dan Griffiths, just put his overall left tackle snaps for the season, 73 pass blocking snaps. He only gave up one pressure and 0 sacks, and that one pressure that he gave up wasn't even on him. It was because Trevor Lawrence rolled out and actually caused the pressure.
Now, yeah,
that was the first Jets one. The first Jets one. The first the Colts rollout. That was actually, they called that a pressure on Cole Van-Lanen. So in reality, he hasn't given up one true pass set pressure in all of those snaps. Now, we talked about Cole Van-Lanen a few weeks ago, saying that, you gotta give the context of the competition level and where that lands. I don't know, because we've seen Walker Little play against some tough competition. We haven't seen Cole Van-Lanen play anybody tough. So let's just get into a little bit of the film, at least for Cole.
Please.
So we didn't really look much because, so Big Cat Country, shout out, Gus Logan and my guys did a survey of the Duval devout fan base and said 78%, nearly 80% of the fan base wants Cole Van-Lanen to start at left tackle because, he's been playing pretty clean so far. Now he gave up again. He had a clean sheet for a third week, I guess, in a row. No pressures given up for the game. However, in the run game, the Jaguars are giving up or are rushing for 3.3 yards per carry. It's not all Cole Van-Lanen. That's not a Cole Van-Lanen stat, but it is. If you look at this play, that's not great. That's not what you want to put on film if you are the guy competing for the role and the other guy, Walker Little, is pretty dominant in the run game. If you want to establish the run in the playoffs.
I
hear what you got to say. Go ahead. Let me pause it.
I hear your run game concerns, and I know we talked about aggressive linebackers with that. The reason why this isn't the best film for that is because they overstacked the hell out of that side. If this was a run play, this should have been audible, in my opinion. Because just look at what they have on that side of the line. You went right into the garbage. You got 4 on that side, and one's a receiver looking to go out. That was an overloaded side, I think, was the issue there, in my opinion.
You think they should have ran it more inside?
Yeah, it should have been.
That's actually where he was. That's actually where they were aiming, though. To be clear, to be real, he was aiming between Robert Hainsey and
and he opened up the other direction. Yeah, you're right. That's
right. It's right. He just got thrown in the hole that the running back was aiming to. So I can't say anything about the play call. That's more of just you got to be stout, brother, and keep your feet. But then also, I want to give him flowers where they're deserved. In the passing game, he's dominant, and he continues to be dominant in the passing game. That's the same play. Like again, across the board, whenever he's like, even on the play with the rollout, Trevor's rolls out towards the pressure. But if you want to be very clear about this, Van-Lanen has the guy blocked at that point. Like that matters, right?
Yeah.
Like Van-Lanen, he's in great position as far as that's concerned. So overall, he is the dominant left tackle so far based on the competition that we've seen against him. That's not to say he's great, because he might just be average, honestly.
Let's be careful saying dominant. What you were trying to establish is he's clearly an upgrade over Walker Little at this point.
Well, I'm just saying that he has a strong anchor in the pass protection, and I think that that's good enough because, again, we haven't seen very many people actually climb the pocket and turn the corner on him overall. So, assuming Walker Little is fully free of concussion symptoms this week, this is a hard decision for me. So I want to ask you, Mr. Offensive Lineman, who are you starting at left tackle?
I mean, this has nothing to do with my prowess as an offensive lineman. I'm going to listen to the coach and what he says and what he's shown us. Stay with the hot hand. Stay with Cole Van-Lanen. I mean, speaking of hot hands, give it up for Jaguars United. Jason Trent being brave enough to show up in the comments after Trevor Lawrence goes off. Maybe he doesn't hate Trevor after all.
That's a good point. He's a secret. He's an undercover. No, he's an undercover lover. Like, he don't hate Trevor. He just tried to give him that fire. I understand. You just give him all the shade just in the hopes that it brings out the best for you. I see you, Jason. We got you.
Jason Trent. You know what? A bell for you, Jason Trent. Mission accomplished. You stirred him up.
Oh, man.
Coen
does give Trevor. Social Alky says Coen does give Trevor those answers. It's one of the reasons that the run game doesn't appear to be productive because Trevor is making the right checks at the line. Wait, say that again. That's one of the reasons the run game doesn't appear to be productive because Trevor is making the right checks at the line.
He's saying that they're audibling out of bad looks, and that's why you're not seeing a lot of run numbers. Because in particular to this game, and I'm Alky, correct me where I am. It's so weird calling a dude Alky, unironically. Alky, tell me where I'm getting it wrong if I am. But I think what you're alluding to is I believe Etienne had only 12 carries in the football game. And the reason for that is because Trevor's audibling out and reducing the attempts. If you only run the ball 12 times, the chances of you getting big running numbers is reduced because the defense in front of you isn't getting as worn down, which is what the run game's meant to do, yada, 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 yada. So I think there's some there.
You're thinking that Trevor's getting him out of the bad looks, and unfortunately, on the few looks that he is getting, just aren't popping for whatever reason. And so we're just stuck with the low 3 yard per rush average, basically.
Especially when they're running in goal line situations, those always hurt your numbers. Sure, they put a TD in the column, but at day's end, those 1 or 2 yard hits in that short space in the red zone on the doorstep do not help your numbers as far as a box score and an average.
Okay, that's fair. No, that's a fair retort, and I'm hoping that is the case. But again, I don't generally live in hope. You know how I get down.
We got to learn today, is what you're saying. By today, we mean Sunday against the Denver Broncos at the Mile High. So
you get it. So that's what it is. So, and again, just speaking of guys who are not just fighting for roles, but those depth guys, those guys who generally don't get the sparkle, they don't get the shine like they probably should. Let's get on my boy White Magic, Dennis Gardeck. Man, he has given the Jaguars a pass rush kick since the bye week, bro. Like he has been falling. Like I don't know if anybody's been watching, but he has 2.5 sacks, 12 quarterback pressures over the past 7 games. A nice spin move against the Jets, and he brought his peak top of the line white boy dance with him. Like folks don't know this is the upgraded version. That was his original version with the Cardinals of his celebration.
The upgraded sir,
Yes.
is that 4-7? Is that what he's doing? Anyways,
not 4-7. So that was the upgraded version of his celebration dance, man. But and just pointing it out, folks, the team opened the 21-day practice squad, the 21-day return from IR window for Jalen McLeod, rookie linebacker and pass rusher, who backs up Dennis Gardeck and Yasir Abdullah. I've been waiting for this one, bro. McLeod's been on IR all season, and the team placed Jack Keister on IR with a hamstring injury with that DJ Dallas signing to the active roster. I've thought about this, and people on the socials always refer to him as my boy because my brother knows his dad and all those guys. Like they live up there, like Washington D.C. So he gives the team some special teams like chops, but also he gives, more importantly, some pass rush juice heading to the playoffs, because we talk about Dennis Gardeck having a 19% pressure rate. No, Jalen McLeod in college at least had a 21.2 pass rush win rate over his last 3 years in college. Like, if he is anything that they thought he was going to be when they brought him in, that might be something that's going to help this pass rush heading into the playoffs. So I'm kind of just interested in if he's going to be in the right shape, how long it's going to take him to get back into the roster and the floor of things, and how they kind of deploy him, how they're going to use him, because they've been leaning into this youth movement, and that's just another guy to the stable.
On that, I shan't front. I have not a thing to add to that. I know I was critical of him only in that he was the least good draft pick. Not the worst, the least good, because he could still very much pan. Obviously, I'm going to remind everybody at every chance I get that my favorite one was, in fact, LaQuint Allen in round 7. And my favorite fullback currently in the NFL. Not
Same. It was hard not to like LaQuint Allen as soon as you saw that game tape and you heard everything they said about him. They said that man loved to fight in college, and he loved to fight in the league. He is the same guy. Beautiful. You need some dogs on your team like that. But before we get into this playoffs conversation, any other comments you want to hop into? I just want to give them guys their space.
P.J. Brown calling his shot 31-17. That notorious score, for those who remember, I believe that was his prediction way back in week 1 against the Panthers, was something like that. Of course, he won a lot of money on that Panthers game. I won't take anything about that.
We're not pocket watching, but he was bragging on the socials about it. We just reminding folks.
Yeah, and here comes Jason Trevor hating. Jets could not get to the QB, and Trevor exposed the MOF over and over again. Of course, the MOF being the middle of the field. Yeah, and I mean that was that aggressive linebacker action we were talking about with the LB not there to fill the middle. The middle was open to Jason's turn.
Hey Jason, guess what? Guess who else does that? The Denver Broncos. Is going to be very interesting on that preview episode we have coming up, but
they're very similar in the schemes that they run and the frequency that they run these coverages. Let's just say that. But one team is obviously better than the other one because they have better guys.
I mean, that's a whole thing, and let's not act like Sean Payton is a bad coach either. Too, my favorite pair of comments in here amongst the Duval divers today: Maniac Slap 1623, Tootin' ain't been all that. And then his very next comment, great catch on Sunday, though.
He's been holding on to an ancillary role. Like he's an extra guy. And in the limited reps that you're going to see from him, yes, he hasn't had the explosive one break. He's had a few of them. There's been shoestring tackles where he's the guy who's been the change up. That's his role. And you're just hoping that by the end of the season, he can fill that Sean Tucker role, basically, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's the way I can look at it. Like, he's not supposed to be Bucky Irving. He's supposed to be the next guy.
You mentioned the Buccaneers. I got to go ahead and pull out Reyes' comment then. Imagine how angry Tampa Bay fans are right now watching Coen cook. At this point, I used to give the Bucs and Bucs fans a hard time for being hard on Liam Coen and the Jags. Now, you know what? I'm okay with it. I understand the bitterness.
No. I know a lot of Bucs fans. That's the funny part about it. So I don't have to imagine. I know exactly how they feel. I don't know. God bless you. Good luck.
I want to touch on this too with Storm the Desert. In here, huge thing I see is Trevor is trusting what he sees and the call. Early in the year, he'd wait to see the route open instead of trusting the player and the play call. And by then, often too late to throw. I would quickly add before you jump in, Travis, I think there's an element of a few of the, shall we say, alligator arm balls with BTJ that may have also been a factor in his psyche. I don't know if that's where you were going, but that's what I would also throw in here too.
So folks hate watching film with me, and I think it's great just because no, like not.
I think it's great when you want to hate.
My guys that know ball love it. Like I have a few of my guys who like played in college, and a few of them played in the NFL. Like, and when we have conversations, we are really critical, especially of quarterback play, because I'm looking at it from the vantage point of a DB. Where I'm saying I'm looking at it like, nah, this ball should have been on the outside shoulder because he gave the DB an opportunity to get a hand on the ball because it was a tick late or it was a yard inside. And I know we're talking 15 yards down the field, and I'm talking about the difference of a yard up the field and a yard inside. But at the end of the day, when I'm looking at film, I'm looking at it from that perspective. So when folks was like, yeah, he's
looking at it that close.
Yeah. So he's throwing with anticipation, and he is. But I can point to, in this game, I can probably point to at least a good 8 to 10 passes where I'm like, I'm happy he caught it. But the only reason that was a contested catch is because it was still a tick late. He was still throwing on the wrong shoulder. It still should, like, those kinds of things. And that's not me being a hater. I'm just trying to be honest and being like me looking at it saying, the DB should not have been able to make a play even to get a hand on that ball. There was a receiver actually balled out and got him out of that jam, if that makes sense. Like Brenton Strange, he caught that ball and it shouldn't have been close. Or Jacoby Myers caught that ball, but the DB shouldn't have had his hand in there in the first place. Like those kinds of things is just, he's getting better. He's not perfect. And I'm not trying to get too high and too low to be like, to pretend like these are perfect throws. No, but they're good throws and they're able to make plays. That works. Good job, y'all.
I'll throw in this there too. You may know better than I do. Social Alky with the question: why sign Dallas and not bring up Jackson from the practice squad?
It's a wonderful question. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure because I'm curious of whether or not DJ Dallas has any special teams, ability there. Because I'm not saying that it has to be special teams, but if you're going to be these third running back guy, essentially, because I think LaQuint Allen, no matter if you bring up someone or if you sign someone, LaQuint Allen's probably going to be your backup running back. I think that's your second guy, full stop. So if you're having a third running back, it needs to be a guy who has special teams chops. I like Jaquinton Jackson from the preseason as a running back. I don't recall him doing much in the special teams games, and I don't know that he does. So if DJ Dallas has some special teams chops, which I believe he does, at least for kick return purposes, I recall from years ago, then that would be the difference in my opinion. But again, I like Jackson as a running back. I just don't know for your third running back, you'll need a guy who has a little bit of special teams ability, but also maybe even that veteran presence could help.
My dude.
Brother, they ain't on the cover.
Travis Glover. I'm sure he means ETN and not you. Anyway,
I mean, like that outfit. Oh man. So, playoffs. Hercules.
Playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. So anybody who hadn't seen, like, obviously the Houston Texans are still one game behind the Jacksonville Jaguars, just lurking ever since that dang 19-point comeback, man. And that's the funniest thing about this is someone asked me, I believe it was Radius Johansson, shout out, friend of the pod, asked, hey, what happens if the Jaguars and the Titans tie at 12 wins? Like, where's that tiebreaker?
You mean the Texans? You totally said the Titans.
I said the Titans. The Titans. Oh, Jesus.
You don't want to do that. No.
It's the same level of hate, if that makes sense.
That's right, actually. Carry on.
So on the off chance, he asked me, so on the off chance they both tied with 12 games, basically what happened. And it took me a day to get back to him, but I was like, wait a minute, Lord, are you freaking kidding me? The tiebreakers for a one team tie in the same division goes head to head, Jaguar split. Divisional play, if you have to assume they'd have the same record, basically, unless the Jaguars lost to the Broncos.
But no. I mean, you're talking about the win record, overall win record.
The win record. Yeah, it'd be 5-1 in the division.
Exactly. You had said the Broncos was a division game, and that's the miscalculation, right? We're assuming.
Gotcha.
that they close out beating the Colts and Titans with two more
Right.
to go 5-1.
And then they'd be 5-1. Both teams would be 5-1. Then you have the common opponents, and I'm like, wait a minute, are you kidding me? The Jaguars and the Texans all beat the same common opponents. There's like 6 teams, and it's exactly the same outcomes in every single game for both the Texans and the Jaguars. And we get down to the 5th tiebreaker, the strength of victory, and the Texans win in that scenario. So the Jaguars can't allow the Texans to win every game and also slip up, or they might have the actual AFC championship title on the line. They would drop from a 3rd seed to a 6th seed just on that.
What I'm hearing is everybody in the Duval Devout just became a Phillip Rivers fan.
So on the positive side of things, though, if Jacksonville wins them this Sunday, and either the Indianapolis Colts or the Houston Texans lose or tie, the Jaguars clinch a playoff berth this week. Like, that's the big one that everyone's kind of happy about. A loss to the Broncos, kind of what I was mentioning a second ago, knocks the Jaguars out of a number 1 seed contention, though, because they would no longer be able to catch the Broncos. They'd be three games ahead with a head-to-head tiebreaker. Like, there's just no way.
And somebody mentioned in the comments when comparing the Texans and the Jags that the conference record is also a factor. Let me throw that in. Currently, both teams are tied at 7-2, right? So if both teams win out, because both teams have AFC schedules for the remainder,
they have the same schedule. They have the same record. Exactly the same. That's what I'm saying. Like I promise I took a good 10 minutes and went down the list to make sure I wasn't crazy.
I just wanted to hit that one in particular because Robert Lamison in the comments asked, and we want to make sure he was clear on it because it is confusing. I'm not dissing you, the commenters. I'm not dissing them either. It is a process.
I should have shown the picture from the NFL.com so you guys would have followed along with me. But the gist of it is you get down to the 5th tiebreaker, and that's the one that the Texans would end up winning on. So you don't want to drop any of these games when you have the opportunity. It's in your wheelhouse. It's in your control. You win and you're in. You win and you probably got the number 1, if not the number 2 seeds at least. And that's when things get real fun.
That's right. Listen, and Travis, for that research, went real deep. Pause. Anyway,
Jesus. Speaking of getting that number 1 and number 2 seed, let's leave our quarterback conversation. Let's just push that to the end of the pod, if you don't mind. Let's wrap it up with that. But it feels weird to me, just because I wanted to go into this conversation, just because of that comment, that folks don't seem to care as much about the prospect of Jacksonville getting that number 1 and number 2 seeds. Like, I've had a lot of conversations recently, one on the radio just the other day, and the guy was just like, hey, AFC South. And I'm like, dude, what about the number 1 and number 2 seeds that they're a game behind the Patriots? They're 2 games behind the Broncos with the Broncos this week. I don't get why we're not talking about that. Like, it just seems that everybody's content on holding on to the AFC South title because they're scared of Houston lurking. Am I off in this kind of thought process?
I'll give. This is one place where I'll give Duval fans credit, and one where I'll give the national media a hard time. One of them, y'all petty. You want to beat your rivals back. I get it. Trust me. Nobody, when I was covering UCF in 2017, was talking about winning the American. They were talking about beating the USF Bulls in that last game on Black Friday, period, point blank, end of story. It's that vibe. Okay. They're the rivals. We want them to not make it just as much, if not more, as we want to get there. You know about that live. Travis, you've been petty on this show plenty. It's been plenty entertaining. Let me add this.
And I'm Petty Pennington. I'm the Petty.
Penny McPennington III. Got you. What I'm saying is this. The other aspect is the way the national media has crowned the Patriots. It's ironic that the team in question is named the Patriots because I get instances of King George from Hamilton. You'll be back worshiping the Patriots just because you were used to doing it with Tom Brady. Not talking to you, Duval, talking to the national media. They never let it go. The only thing that got let go was the Titans letting go of Mike Vrabel, which I said many times they shouldn't have done. And now I'm looking super smart. They have already crowned the Pats, even though they've
crowned the Patriots. They've crowned the Broncos. I got you.
I don't know if they crowned the Broncos. See.
So it feels like they view the Broncos and the Jaguars the same, and I feel like these teams are actually very similar in a lot of ways, also.
And that part's okay. You notice I didn't attack that. Of course, the Broncos haven't come back from haven't given up a 21-point lead lately that I can remember either.
I mean, they gave up a 19-point lead at first to the Giants. They were down 19-0 at the start of that fourth quarter. 18-0. They were down 18 points in like 7 minutes left in the game. If you want to really get them to specifics, like if Jackson Dart doesn't throw a boneheaded interception with like 5 minutes left, there's no way they win that game. It's just not mathematically possible. Like, it was just weird stuff. It was one of those games. It was the Texans, the opposite end of the Texans game. But
I'm not yelling at you, Jason. I'm trying to be
yelling. This is how I talk.
I'm not yelling because that's how I talk. Haven't you seen my podcast?
My overall point on this whole home field conversation, or this whole number 1 and number 2 seed conversation for me, is like, dude, this team is 6-1 at home, and they're a Florida team with a lot of guys from the South. Like, personally, like, I had this conversation with my guys on Monday in one of our like Clubhouse apps, that like, I'd hate to get to the postseason to have that one question still lingering of like, hey, can this team play in the snow? Like, with a lot of young guys who you simply haven't had the opportunity to stress test them on this scenario.
Think
like,
Miami Dolphins a few years back when they first got.
Yeah. No. I don't want to lose a game simply because I just didn't know that we weren't ready for that one thing. Like, give me home field advantage and let's see which team plays the best in the bank. Personally, like, you ever played in snow, bro? Have you?
I've not.
You've never played in snow.
I played in heavy rain. That's all I can tell you.
So, like, I went to UCF first, and I played in snow. Got to play in snow once, and then I went to Northern Michigan for 2 years, and I got to play in snow a lot. And when I tell you, that is a different thing, brother. Like, that ain't the same thing, and it takes something. Like, and if you are, let's say a team is up on you 14 points, and you just getting, and you think there's a chance you can come back, and you just get hit that wrong way. I can see a dude checking out easily. Like, I can see a dude just, nah, man, I'm out. Like, that I'm not mentally here anymore. And that's the part that I'm talking about with a young team. You don't want that to be lingering out there when you have it in your control to be that number 1 or number 2 seed. You're talking about a difference of one game. We gotta be talking about that though. And Social Alky says Jags historically play in cold weather games well. Hey man, Jaguars also historically haven't been a good team. The history don't matter. I'm talking about this year.
I mean, that's a fine take. I ain't knocking it.
Yeah, throw the history books out.
I'll put it
different guys.
There's a comment here that I think will make for a fantastic transition into the Thursday episode by Robert Lambison. Let me ask you about former UCF running back RJ Harvey. He fumbled 9 times, and he did last week. Will Coach Camp spend extra time punching the ball out? Listen, as somebody who covered RJ Harvey to a great extent with the Black and Gold Banneret and the Night Shift podcast, you better bet we're going to talk about him a little bit on Thursday. I'm just going to throw that in.
That's going to be it, bro. RJ Harvey, assuming he plays, because again, this Tuesday right now. I don't know that he's going to play. He did leave that Broncos last game with a rib injury. No one's talked about that. I even looked on the fantasy apps to make sure I wasn't crazy. No, they don't even mention it. I mean, he left the game with a rib injury. We'll see if he plays. We'll see if he practices. We'll see what happens there. But no one's kind of mentioned it at all. So I was just curious about what's going to happen with him because I would love to see him, obviously, UCF guy. But also, I hope he has the worst game in his career against the Jaguars. Also, that's just being real. I want all the best things to happen to you in all the other games other than this one. Cool.
No,
sorry, Social.
It's no disrespect to you, man. My dude's just intense. He wants his team to do as well as you, Social Alky. PT phone home talking about snowball in the backyard bowl. Hope you had a great turkey bowl over Thanksgiving. If you partake, it's better to chase than to be chased. There's something to do that. Go for that number 1 seed, 100%.
That's it.
Broncos fan from Colorado. The cold will not affect Jags. It will be a good game. I think the thin air affects the Jags more than the cold personally, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, yeah. I do not believe the cold in Denver will affect the Jaguars. My only point was that whether or not, like, you don't know what the weather's going to be like on that day, in that week, in that time. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Whether it's Denver, whether it's New England, whatever. Like, that, my point is, if you have the opportunity to make it in Duval, then you make it in Duval and make them go through the bank. Make the playoffs go through the bank. That's always got to be the goal, man. And KB Huck says
yeah.
cold weather games are about mental fortitude. Jazz got that this year. I actually agree with you.
I do
cold
too.
weather games are about mental fortitude. Yes. And yet, it's about mental fortitude on a guy by guy level, on a person by person level. And you might have 9 guys who have that mental fortitude at that time, because these are still human beings who are inconsistent and imperfect. And you would just have guys who just aren't as locked in as they normally are. They're 80% locked in, and they get hit that wrong way, like that guy that LaQuint Allen hit in the dang chest on 95 for the Jets, and at the wrong time, and they check out for 5 plays, and those 5 plays, 2 of them are touchdowns. All I'm saying is it takes one guy. That's just football, man. That's just being real with you.
I would also remind you that this is your coach, Travis.
26 and the 49ers 21.
Let's go. Duval.
To keep that snow out your mouth, Travis Holmes.
All I'm saying is I'm with you. I'm with y'all. I get you. And it's about mental fortitude. And if the Jaguars get there, I'm obviously going to cheer them on and hope all the best things happen to them. My only point is when you have a young team, inconsistency is built into the core of them normally. That's kind of how that works. You're going to have that inconsistency, that up and down, and those new tests that they have to either fail or pass before they can kind of figure it out. I just would hate for that to be one of those tests when you literally have it in your control right now to be a number 1 or number 2 seed.
So I hear you saying it's going to be a comeback win in Mile High. Got it. We'll talk more about that Thursday. But in the meantime, Travis D. Holmes.
Wait. Mahomes is no longer in the playoffs. We got to talk about that.
Oh,
Pat Mahomes is no longer in the playoffs, brother.
True. And this is the topic I was talking about doing leading up to the show. I know here on this show and on the on Twitter and all of that, you made the incredibly valiant point that the most dangerous force is in fact, or was in fact, Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, regardless of not of his injury. That team is eliminated. I guess Gardner Minshew is a double agent, whatever. But with that in mind, Travis D. Holmes, with what we've seen amongst, shall we say, the remaining competitors, who or what scares you, worries you most about your remaining potential playoff elements? But like I said before, the question brought to you was Texans defensive line or Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. You said Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. Who do you have for this?
So are we talking, I just want to make sure I'm on the same page with you. Are we talking AFC and NFC, or are we talking just across the NFL, period?
Here's what I'll say. Lead with the AFC, but bringing up the NFC for the potential Super Bowl opponent is a worthwhile endeavor here. What the heck? And I'm flashing it up here on the screen, and I'm going to zoom in so everybody can actually see. Working on it. Good God, I'm doing this on the fly.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait a minute, all right, because
hating out here in these streets. Good God, man.
The biggest overall challenge for me personally is the LA Rams, and that's funny to say because this is the Jaguars, so obviously trying to be LA.
See,
what they're trying to be LA.
On my visual, you went to NFC first.
We're staying in the AFC. If we're staying in the AFC, it's a quarterback-centric league, and sometimes when you get into the playoffs, it's not always about the best team that wins. Sometimes it's just if you're playing against a mutant who just wakes up like Trevor Lawrence woke up on Sunday, then it might be a problem. And from that vantage point, from that perspective, I'm then going with the Buffalo Bills. And as much as I don't think the Buffalo Bills are a good team, I think the defense is trash right now. I think the run game is inconsistent, and I think the quarterback has been all over the place, but they somehow still found a way to win 10 games this season. And that's mainly on the shoulders of that quarterback who can be inconsistent. So it's got to be Josh Allen, I don't even know if he's the good one or the bad one at this point, but that Josh Allen in Buffalo.
I mean, I hear you, Duval, but goodness gracious, like with all the Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime that I've been privileged to witness from the press box, it's hard for me to lead there. The Jags just always seem to match up somehow well with the Buffalo Bills. I would argue Lamar.
Other than 2024, yes.
Yeah, correct. I would, that Monday night game is a completely different story. I blame Doug Peterson for that. Yeah, like I mean,
and Ryan, you misspelled Ryan Nielsen. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I got you, dog. Right. Well, hey, Ryan misspelled Neeson. Who spells that Nielsen? Who spells that with an I anyway? Anyways, I think we would be remiss to not at least bring up Lamar Demetrius Jackson, and I think that's just as weak an answer, in my opinion, because of what the Jags were able to do against the Ravens more often than not. At the end of the day, the last time they played the Ravens at Everbank, the Ravens won, but they did it by scoring big in the second half. The Jags were in the game for most of it, right? I could make a strong argument.
I'm not scared of Lamar, and I should be. And I understand he can get dangerous when he's on. Oh boy, he's on. But Lamar hasn't been as on lately.
That's true.
Even since he returned from his injury, like he had a game, he's either really low or really high. And I guess that you can make the same argument for Josh Allen. Like, let's be real. That Ravens team would not be a 7-win team if Lamar was healthy this whole season, and they probably be in the top 2-3 spots right now also. So like, I can be fair and say everybody kind of has that same argument, but it's a quarterback centric league. So these are the two dangerous guys, the legacy guys, if that makes sense. I'm not scared of the young ones.
And we're not even mentioning NFL MVP candidate Justin Herbert. Wow.
Why?
Oh, because the Chargers are going to charger is what you're saying.
Man, the Chargers charger it. Like, like when I say stuff like, "Hey, man, this is gonna happen because Jaguars." Like, that's what I mean. That's the same thing as a charging it. I don't fear Justin Herbert because he doesn't do the thing that Jaguars defense struggles with. We talked about this on so many weeks. I think if you're a religious Duval Dive listener, you know what I'm talking about already. The Jaguars struggle against quarterbacks who throw the ball at 2.5 seconds, point blank period. Liam Coen has mentioned it at least on 2 different pressers this season, specifically saying 2.5 seconds. Like, this is clearly where they struggle. A veteran quarterback who gets the ball out on time, who just reads the defense, sees the blitz coming, gets it away. That is the problem. Someone like Josh Allen generally isn't that guy. Someone like a Justin Herbert generally isn't that guy, but Allen can do it ever so often. You've seen him do it against Ryan Nielsen's defense, for instance, last year. You don't see Justin Herbert ever doing that. Unless he's injured, and he knows he has to get rid of the ball quickly. You don't see Lamar Jackson doing that generally. This is not their game. They're scrambling and trying to make plays and make it work in that way. It's just not the same thing. So from that perspective, this the guys who are true veteran quarterbacks who are truly trying to get in and out of these drops, throw the ball, move it along. Your Matt Staffords, maybe your Drake May every so often, because he has games where it's high and games where it's low, but he can do it at least. Those types of guys are the ones that I'm looking at. Like, that might be a problem come one day. It ain't today's problem though, but that's the problem.
Okay, but no, I think the correct answer is the Rams. Let's be honest. Anyways, Travis,
man.
You're just saying that because they drafted Jared Verse. Anyways, man. Travis, we're coming up on an hour, man. Let the people know.
Yeah, man. Oh man, please go bigcatcountry.com. Check out the post game recaps. Check out any breaking news on the site. Any of our articles talking about Cole Van-Lanen versus Walker Little. You can put your opinion in that little hat. Let us know how you feel about this whole competition, or maybe you don't even think it's a competition anymore. And then hit me up on all the socials, Travis D. Holmes. And if you're listening to us on the YouTube or on the audio side, please rate and review us. Click that like button, comment on the stream, help us out there, man. Because again, this costs you nothing, and it helps us tremendously. This thing keeps growing only because this algorithm keeps pushing us out there, and that's because you guys are liking it and you're commenting. So we appreciate you guys, and please just let them know where you can be found, sir.
Absolutely. You know where I could be found? I could be found looking at these comments as you guys are still debating and commenting and talking Jaguar football as we're clearly in the middle of signing off and doing some things. I am grateful for all you commenters. Yeah, I guess you too, Jason Trent, Jaguars United. No, but listen, thank you guys for checking in. I am Kyle Nash, the student of the game. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and Blue Sky at BSOTG. Find me on Facebook as the student of the game. Check out my writings this week in particular and weeks upcoming with the Scouting Depot, covering all the Orlando Bowl games, starting with the Cure Bowl Wednesday night, Old Dominion versus USF. Check all that out. Of course, my work with the Black and Gold Banneret. It's a little odd that a writer for the Black and Gold Banneret and somebody's on the Night Shift podcast. We covering the Bulls of USF, but I'll be there and I do both things. It's a whole thing. It's a great time. Make sure you check that out. Of course, my work covering the Orlando Magic and with your Jacksonville Jaguars. So for my personal champion, Travis D. Holmes, for all of you commenters, help making this show great each and every time. We'll see you Thursday night as we preview the Broncos' huge game as we come to the close of the season. Until next time, everyone, class dismissed.